long. Hello, everybody. Can you all see my screen?
We can,
right,
yeah.
The right part of the screen. Good. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about the Creative Digital Hub that we are delivering at the Observer building in Hastings. So it's this building on the right-hand side. We also own the left-hand building there, Rock House, and we've been working in this neighbourhood for many years, but we started in the left-hand building, which is Rock House, as a meanwhile use in the basement before we bought it, and delivered a what we call a phased organic redevelopment. And so we are an ecosystem of many great organisations, one of which is Meanwhile Space, Jericho Road and Heart of Hastings. They form White Rock Neighbourhood Ventures, who are the community-led developer of these buildings. We take very much a sort of digital peer-to-peer sharing open source philosophy to the way that we work. So not duplicating resources or tools, but that each has our own specialism that we bring to the table in the area. And together we are delivering a number of different projects and spaces. Some are acquisitions, some are leases, but all with the mindset of how do we capture for community benefit and ultimately long-term community ownership of the buildings in this fantastic area that's undergoing a lot of change. So this is a sort of nice illustration that gives you an idea of sort of context of where it's located. There's a heritage action zone in that local area, but it is a fast regenerating area adjacent to the new town. And how do we retain the good bits of that for local people to benefit from? So coming back to the Observer, which is the largest of the buildings in the Commons, we call it the Hastings Commons, and has secured, the Creative Digital Hub has secured for the ground floor of that Observer building £717,000 as part of the Hastings Town Steel Fund. And we're at the stage where we're currently working up the business case in partnership with the council to go forward for approval and project delivery for the summer if it is approved. So this phased organic development approach is underway throughout the rest of the Observer building to deliver phase one of that, which is workspace, some food and beverage, and some other leisure uses, and other enabling works to make the building watertight, put windows in for the first time since 1984, and start to get the building in proper active use. And then we will move on to the later phases, including the Creative Digital Hub. So one of our approaches is also to use meanwhile uses to test activities, to refine the business model, to build the networks around the different types of activity that we want to bring, and see whether it can work. So this is an architect's visualization of what it looks like. It's a form of print works, so a very large footprint, quite actually difficult to use. It's built into the cliff. So it's really challenging but interesting, and a really wonderful, exciting building to be working with. So why digital? We have settled on this idea that digital is actually really important to the town and can provide a lot of very interesting and aspirational benefits to local people. Including employment and entrepreneurial opportunities, but that it also bridges between that and everyday life management. Sorry, I just need to move everybody's faces so I can read this. And that also it can provide enriching entertainment experiences. Being a tourist town, attracting visitors is also very important to us. The sector can create the quality employment opportunities that are not currently available in Hastings. Currently, lots of younger people leave the town to go to Brighton or to London to find these types of employment opportunities. So tourism as well, a high quality leisure experience for local people and visitors alike is also something we want to try and achieve. And we feel like it can support the community to upskill and have the same access and opportunities and financial benefits that digital access can unlock. So Fergus was talking a little bit about this, but we've chosen to make this a physical thing. So we have these assets, we have these wonderful buildings, and we have the opportunity to create space that can provide all these digital experiences and opportunities from it, and that it'll also bring people together to work and socialise and catalyse the regeneration of the area, which is really what the Hastings Commons is all about. Okay, so the challenges that we faced are that everybody's view of what a digital hub is varies massively. We're very lucky. We've got a huge number of people who are very interested and committed and engaged with the Commons. And once we started talking to people, we quickly realized that people thought that this could be a workspace for digital businesses. It could be a VR lounge, a makerspace, a hackspace. Honestly, there were so many different views and versions of what a digital hub could be. So we decided that the way to approach this was to engage as many people as possible to try and understand what the needs are of the town, what the opportunities of the building can provide for, and also what people want to see happen there. But to try and have something that's really aspirational and inspirational. This is really a large amount of money. It's a one-off opportunity to create a fantastic asset for the town, and how we go about that is really important. And then once we've gone through those kind of processes of looking at who's doing what elsewhere, what we can learn from, and how we can apply that to Hastings, then we're looking at what's viable and how we can make it sustainable in the longer term basis. So we've been working on this actively and are currently at the sort of business case stage and thinking about how we apply that. But our vision that we've settled on for the digital hub is to provide inspiration for tech and digital businesses, to attract them to the town so they don't leave, through providing equipment, infrastructure, creating a valuable asset and facility for the town. We want to work from the ground up with young people with enthusiasm and talent to co-deliver and grow the offer into an inspirational environment. And we want to work with the industry in the form of sponsorship, mentoring, training, to provide learning and skills development, as well as routes into employment. So we started with a lot of talking to people. We ran a series of workshops, interviewed one-to-one key stakeholders. We ran another series of visioning workshops. We've been working alongside the Observer Project Board as well to sort of stress test some of the thinking as we've been going through. And then these outcomes have formed a strategic case for the Creative Digital Hub. So it's just a bit about the stakeholders that we've spoken to and the very different views that they've had, from wanting it to be about indie gaming, AR and VR, to wanting it to be for the local community that don't have access to internet, to wanting it to be for younger people to retain them in the town and provide opportunities. So from these conversations and also understanding a lot about the needs of the town and the opportunities of the building, we've identified 3 potential themes that we want to focus on. And these are leisure. So we want to create a cutting edge, evolving, high profile space that enables people in Hastings to experience new technologies, but also attracts tourists and other creative industries to Hastings. We want to focus on the talent, provide an inspirational, aspirational space. It doesn't have to be for young people, but it's a particular demographic in need in the town, opening up training and employment beyond formal learning institutions, and retaining that talent in the town. And also community, to develop a space that's accessible for all and can bridge the gap between digitally included and excluded. So we've broken each of these themes down and really tried to understand what that might look like on a day-to-day basis. So for leisure, it's an immersive AR experience, an exhibition that draws people in, an immersive experience that also provides an outlet for local creatives to get involved with delivering those exhibitions that may change on a fairly regular basis. And we've also considered what the need of that and the demand for it is in the town, who might come to it, and how viable is that, what kind of price points might they play. We ran a really excellent project called Wonder Golf, which was kind of creative festival version of golf in that site in a couple of years ago, that got thwarted by COVID, unfortunately, but it was incredibly successful. It brought together all creative people in the town to deliver it, and had actors providing the sort of welcome experience, and lots of different people delivering the project. So building on that in a digital way, using that network from that Meanwhile activity, and understanding from the feedback that people gave as well, was really important. For talent, we're thinking about almost a kind of production space, a maker space where you can have hackathons, people can come and hang out and just play games, but also there's kind of collaborative opportunities with business, how we retain young people, create opportunities for them for employment, how they can maybe produce things that might go and then be used in the more leisure part of the project as well. And how we learn from other projects that are happening locally as well. And then for community, it's actually how do we, is it more of a programmatic opportunity for engaging schools, intergenerational activities, using the sort of downtimes of the leisure offer to use the equipment, hireable event space, those kind of activities, but also just providing access to internet for people that may not have it. And it may be that the Observer is not the best place for that, maybe somewhere else in the Commons that we want to make that into a more suitable and bespoke space. Then we looked at the social impact of each of these different uses, and really kind of summarised that actually the leisure use is not so good on the social impact, but strong on boosting tourism, maybe the better income generator. It's the talent and the community that really bring the different social input, and how we can maybe kind of combine those was something that we started thinking about next. And the risks of each of those themes, the concerns and the worries over digital projects is the costs. The CapEx costs are very high, but not to mention the challenges we also face, which I think people have discussed before, is the intimidating subject matter and language that can be used, particularly by people who know what they're talking about and are very enthused by that subject. But also the breadth of the community feedback and how we understand the different requirements of each of the uses that we're bringing forward, how to meet those multiple needs in one space, and the challenges and risks around each of those uses, not least in combining them together, it creates different kinds of risks as well. But our preferred model that we're exploring is the leisure-led model, with dedicated space for talent and community programmed into the activities. So we will have a strategic lead who is able to connect across communities and all across the different groups and sectors of people that may be coming in there, find those opportunities, seek them out, create collaborations with businesses, and program that space to a high intensity to make sure that there's as much community gain as possible. So we feel,
Emily, sorry, yeah. I don't mean to interrupt too bad, but I just got a ruling, next steps, and we can then
next steps. That's fine. So I'll wrap up very quickly. So we're flying through these bits here, which are space design and CapEx, to define the outputs and the delivery and management plan. And then we'll be putting that forward to the business case in April. And then we will be testing. We've got a digital playground that's going to be tested from January to July this year, and a digital map gaming workshops, both of which will feed into the leisure and the talent strands and inform those into better products. Okay, that's me. Apologies for overrunning.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, well, apologies for me for interrupting, but no, that's great. I am looking forward